Hey guys, Kelly here from Body Fit Solutions. I just thought I'd do a little video to highlight some mobility ways that we can improve the mobility in the upper back. I especially see with my low back patients, clients who have low back pain, but they lack mobility in the upper back. And this can affect the whole system down and up, so it can affect the mechanics of the neck and can affect how we support the low back. So if this isn't moving very well, then we're going to end up moving more through the low back instead. So a few tools I've got: the foam roller. This is just a soft Pilates ball that you can get on Amazon or on Pilates Mad. This is a Eric Franklin ball. It's called a prickly stimulating ball, and it's quite soft. You can get the ones that are hard and they're not very comfortable. They're useful for some places like the feet and maybe into the glute area. But these are quite nice and forgiving for opening up the shoulders. So I'm just going to give you a few tools that can help you hopefully open up your upper back. So I'm going to start with the foam roller, and you've seen this quite classically probably in many different ways, but we're going to support behind the head, and really important that we use the breath. Okay, so it's not just about going backwards, but about using the breath. So I'm going to let the exhale melt my body over. Breathing into the back ribs, and then just letting my body release over. Not being forceful with it, just being patient, opening up the shoulders gently. And I'm starting to meet an edge. I'm starting to feel where the tissue's not wanting to respond back. So I'm just going to roll back up and reset. I want to feel the ribs expanding, so I don't want to just breathe just for the sake of it. I want to expand the ribs and then exhale back. So it feels like you're releasing over the roller and feeling the front of you give, from the pubic bone, from the front of the pelvis all the way up into the sternum and the upper chest. And can you see I've gone a little bit further that time? And exhale out. Now if you're very locked in that area, you're going to find you don't go back so far, and you might find that the foam roller is just a little bit too aggressive for you. So this is where the small ball comes in, and I can play with angles now with the small ball. And you can also do this on the roller, where I can go slightly off center and around and come up the other side. We've got to be very careful that we don't take the work into the low back. So I'm keeping this very stable, and then I can go circling around into the other side. And this is quite helpful to do spiraling type actions. The spine really likes this kind of pattern. So I'm just going from one side and around and into the other side. Equally so, you can just go back through the middle if this feels a little bit better for you. I'm always conscious that my back of the pelvis isn't too tipped forward, so I'm more laying on the back of the pelvis and then just allowing myself to go over. And you can see over the ball I get a much bigger range of movement. It's a little bit more forgiving, it's a little bit more three-dimensional, so that's quite nice. Now with the little spiky ball, and you might need a little bit more head cushions, I'm just putting this in between my shoulder blades. So finding, and there's a big range there, so you can just play, and then I support my head, let my arms fall out. And this feels really nice. Again, you've just got to melt and breathe into it. So I'm just moving where I feel like I need it. So it's a little bit more sticky up at the top of my upper back. And then I might play a little bit with my shoulder blades. So letting them glide apart and together. And just feeling, alternating, just feeling that ball give underneath. I can feel that one side is stiffer than the other. So I'm just playing around that area. And then maybe into some arm arcing patterns where the arms go overhead. Being conscious not to lift the ribs, okay? 'Cause then that's going to go into the low back. So just going around, maybe making some arm circles. So up and around. And just playing, really feeling what does it need. And that's slightly released now for me. So I'm going instinctively where I want it to go, which is to move up a little bit. I might just hang out there and just breathe Or take the arms into a little rotated pattern. This is quite nice for the rotator cuff. And I can feel a little bit more restriction here. I'm just going to let it give. And let myself melt into the ball. And suddenly I can feel my weight kind of giving into the ball more, and my shoulders start to release. So again, if you're very tight there, you might have to take it easy kind of going into these. And release. And I also think it's important to do some side rotation stuff. So just simply in a little side sit position. And if it's not comfortable, sit on a big book or a cushion that props you up just a little bit more. And then going into just some gentle side bends from one side to the other. And this is good for opening up through the side of the low back. And to be very conscious that we're lifting through the middle as we go over. So as not to kind of compress down there. So I'm really feeling quite buoyant in the upper body and lifting out of the legs. And do that on each side. And hopefully that gives you some options for opening up the upper back and opening up through the shoulders that can really help you. Thanks.